Yo, what's going on, Monster Hunter family? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. This is Jay Whitty's Insect Glaive Guide. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let you know off rip, there's layers of complexity to this class. There's a lot to unpack here with the Kinsect Extraction, the combos, holding down the focus mode, holding down the descending thrust charge while aiming. It's a lot. But I do my best to explain as best as I can how you navigate through this class so that you too can have the confidence to play it and enjoy it. So hopefully you end up liking what you see. Thanks for watching in advance, and let's get into it. All right, so rule number one of the Insect Glaive: never play it without collecting your extracts. At the top left-hand corner, you will see numbers 1, 2, and 3 underneath the sharpness bar. That's your extracts. You have to collect those. Well, you see this lovely bug, this beetle on my arm? Yeah, that's one of the perks of the Insect Glaive. And it ain't there just for show. It's very integral to the functionality of the class. You could send that bug on your arm off to go and collect these little extracts. Now, that might sound insane to you, but it's really not that bad. It used to be in previous titles, but they've added in a number of QOLs for you to collect these extracts quite conveniently. Some of it takes a bit of skill. Some of it is just very easy, depending on the comfort level of the Insect Glaive player you are. So if we look at these glowy red marks, you might, if you've been playing the game, then you already know this is Focus Strike, right? So your Focus Strike is one way of collecting all three. In fact, it's the easiest way in the game to collect all three. If you go and attack that Focus Strike with your Focus Strike ability, you will collect all three extracts in one fell swoop. Very comfortable for this class, but sometimes those focus wounds won't be available, so we need to go through all the ways to collect them. But before we do, why is it so important to collect them? Well, the class becomes playable. You're better off throwing a rock at the monster if you do not collect all of these extracts. You start unlocking all of the fancy moves, some of the most powerful moves in its arsenal. You're able to move around faster. You even gain increased resistance to monster roars. There is a lot. You get an increase in attack. So you can't play this class without collecting those first. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is how to shoot this bad boy, aim it at the monster, and collect the extracts. If you look at my head, you'll see a 3 and an orange color. That is because I'm aiming at a particular body part on the monster. In fact, if I go and aim over here, I have a white 2 on my head. If I aim at this, I have a red 1 on my head. These are representations of the body parts of a monster, okay? And with the Kinsect Glaive, or Insect Glaive in particular, aiming at these parts allows the bug to get the extracts from that part, bring it back to you, and then that's how you collect your buffs. So I can shoot my bug over there to get the red and the orange simultaneously, and then I can press circle to bring it back to me. How'd you do that, Smack? Look at the top right-hand corner. R2 is aim marker, all right? For PC players, just look at the names. That's how you'll know what I'm pressing. Aim marker, hold that down, right? And then hold down Kinsect Harvest Extract. Or not hold it down, shoot it out with that. So I'm gonna press R2, hold it down, and then I'm gonna press triangle. That's how you send the bug out. Another thing you can do in Wilds is you can hold down the Kinsect Harvest Extract. Now you'll see this white hue on my weapon. That means that if I fire off the bug now, it's gonna pierce straight through the monster. And whatever parts it hits as it's piercing through the monster, it's gonna bring those extracts back to you. This is gonna be the masterful way of collecting extracts before a battle even begins with the weapon, okay? And what pro players do, myself included, is we try and aim it in a way that's gonna go straight down the monster and collect all the extracts. A lot of monsters in the game, if you just shoot them straight down the middle, it'll collect all three. You do kind of want to be a bit strategic, like aim a little bit in the middle. Unfortunately, this training pole is set up in an awkward way where the red is way the fuck up there. And so there's no collecting all three on this training pole. But basically, I can collect orange and white by just shooting straight through the monster from this angle. Watch this. Boom, boom. I collected orange, white, and green. No one cares about green. All it does is heals you. You want to collect orange, white, and red in one fell swoop. If you watch any speed runs, you'll notice the speedrunner will do a sneak attack, right? It'll come behind the monster, perform a sneak attack, and soon as they're done, frame 1, they're already aiming this straight through the monster to collect all three extracts, and they receive it before the fight even begins. This allows them to ignore the monster's roar. And they usually have earplug 1 or 2 in, depending on the potency of the monster roar they're going up against. But that is very, very important for the Insect Glaive class. Now, there's 2 more ways to collect these extracts. you can actually hold down your focus mode button, right? This is me holding down focus mode. And if I just attack with triangle, you'll see that bug fly off. You can collect extracts while simultaneously attacking, doing that, okay? You can even aim your analog to the right and left to aim the bug to try, like, let's try and get this red one right here. Okay, so I wasn't close enough. Let's do it again. There it is. I collected the red extract by basically attacking and holding down my focus mode. These are methods that are a little bit more niche. Usually it's when you just need one bug or one little like extract remaining for you to fill up all three. And so you'll come up on the monster and then attack them in that part to get that extract at the same time. The final way of collecting these extracts is to propel yourself into the air and use Focus Strike in midair. Yep, you can do that with the Kinsect Glaive. It's one of the coolest damn classes in the game. So you would basically hold down your aim marker and then you see X, vault. You would vault yourself into the air and then you would just do the Focus Strike midair, boom. And then now it'll collect all three extractions in midair. That is a glitch. That's insane, bro. I wish to God my Kinsect Glaive I wish to God my Kinsect Glaive did that. That would be so cool. There's actually one final way I almost forgot about. You can actually propel yourself into the air and shoot at the monster's particular body part, and then your bug will collect that extract simultaneously while also doing damage to the part you shot. So that is the other way to do it, man. That's a really cool way. And admittedly, I never used this way. And I think a lot of speedrunners never really use that way either. It's just very complex and kind of unnecessary most of the time. But you can stun a monster with your blunted bug or sever a body part if you do this. And it's a very effective way. I mean, that's a lot going on up there, dude. It looks like a bunch of bees. And it explodes at the end there, as you can see. So I did want to point that way out, but again, you won't see that one often because it's a lot of work and effort getting it done. Okay, now that we've got that Kinsect extraction, ridiculous layers of complexity out of the way, I hope you learned a little bit there. We're now going to talk about what you should be doing and aiming for once you have all three extracts. What's the optimal combos I should be going for, Smack? How's this class function once I get all three extracts? Let's talk about it. Okay, so once you collect all three, you unlock two abilities and your whole entire actually arsenal of combos changes. But what you're going to have to get used to is holding down the focus mode, which is with L2, and yeah, this is where it gets a little icky. Holding down strong descending slash up there, right? So circle for me, for PC players, just read whatever the input is. So we're holding down focus mode and we're holding down our strong descending slash. And you're going to have to get comfortable with navigating on the controller in particular with doing both of these things while avoiding damage and popping off. I know it sounds like a lot, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad, I promise. So once you have this method down, you get comfortable with it, you can actually do your triangle attacks or strong rising slash combo while holding both down. Why should you hold down focus mode? Because your bug attacks in unison with you. So you're dealing literally more damage than not doing it. So let me show you what it looks like when I don't do it, right? That's what it looks like. Boom, 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 boom. But if I hold down focus mode, watch the extra ticks. Boom, boom, boom. You see those extra ticks? That's my bug attacking in unison with me because I'm holding down the L2, aka focus mode. Now, why am I holding down strong descending slash? Well, that's because that's the strongest fucking move in the entirety of the Kinsect Glaive's arsenal. It's the one you're going to be spamming a lot. And it also leads into the final move of the Kinsect Glaive, which deals an absurd amount of damage. Now, my extracts are about to run out up there because I've been yapping. So let's get them back real quick. All right, we got them back. Let me show you what we generally are going to do here. So we're going to hold down our circle, hold down our focus mode. And what I like to do, and what every speedrunner you're going to see do, is strong rising slash without putting in any directional input. This is your bread and butter. This move right here is amazing. It does a ton of damage and it's very comfortable. The iframes on it aren't too crazy in terms of internal cooldown, and you can go into a lot of different things with it. In fact, I can do this, let go of my circle into the descending strong slash, going right back into that move. It's very quick. It's basically got positive frames for you to go straight into it and do things that you need to do. Another thing you're going to see people doing is strafing right and left with the analog after this move, and that's to reposition, right? Sometimes the monster's head is, slightly to the left. Sometimes the monster's head is slightly to the right, but just by aiming to the right and left on the analog for the second input, you can reposition yourself while still dealing damage. That, I shit you not, is the majority of just the regular moves you're going to be doing while you're in this mode. If you're not doing that move, then you're letting go of your charge, which is strong descending slash, boom, 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 reposition, boom, boom, and then you're going straight into this bad boy right here. Now there's one final move. After you do your strong descending slash, you can then press while holding L2, circle again, and you'll do your finisher. That's what this is going to look like right here. Boom, 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 go to the right if you need to. If you don't have to. Boom, 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 triangle again, let the strong descending slash go into the final, press circle. I ran out as soon as I did that. That's just, okay, that's bad luck. You never run out. It's because I'm sitting here teaching you guys how to play the game. That was just bad luck. Let me get my extracts again. Dear God, you're making me look bad, Glaive. What the hell? All right, hold down circle, hold down focus mode. Boom, 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 let go. Bop, 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 bop. Final move, circle into the air. That is the most broken move in the Kinsect Glaive arsenal. Now you'll notice that when you do it, it takes all of your extracts away up there. Yeah, a little bit of micromanagement. However, that move can deal all that damage, and if your bug hits the right parts of the monster while in the act of doing that move, you can actually gain all 3 extracts back at once. So with a little bit of luck on your side, and it is luck, you can gain all 3 extracts back without actually having to do anything while doing that move. Most of the time though, you'll be lucky to get 1 and 2 back, and then you have to kind of do the rest on your own. So that's important to know. Well, we're gonna get these extracts back. I wanna do it one more time because it's important for you guys to understand. Hold down your circle ability. Never do this ability without it doing the full charge, okay? I'm a roll to take it away. So 1 charge, 2 charge. If you do it on the first charge, your damage gets cut significantly. So you only ever wanna do this move right here when you're at level fully charged, okay? Another thing that's important to note is, yeah, you can actually aim where it's at. So let's say like the monster's to my right, but I'm over here attacking this way. If you hold down focus mode, you can actually pivot to aim where you want to aim. So hold down focus mode and just pivot to the right. You can control that. It's very important to take note of. Now, what do I generally do when I'm fighting a monster? Once again, I'm usually reading what they're doing. With my traditional triangle attack right here, I'll do a second one. I rarely ever go into the third triangle attack. Usually it's boom, 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 drive to the left, and then I go straight into descending thrush. And if I see an opportunity, I'll go straight into that ult, the rising spiral slash. But often at times, I'm reading the monster and kind of poking at them with that combo you're watching there, trying to see what they're going to do and if there's an opportunity to take the advantage and go straight into this rising slash right here. Another thing worth noting is you can focus strike right after the rising slash to secure the extracts in the air. That way you don't have to spend too much time dicking around trying to get different parts of the monster to secure your 3 extractions. That's a very solid combo. Going into the air and you're like, oh, I didn't get all extracts. Oh, there's a part I can strike, focus strike midair, get all the extracts. That's a pretty cool combo that I do quite often in the middle of a hunt, even in my speed runs, to save myself time of having to collect them manually. I also want to point out, guys, I'm not going to explain every single move in the Kinsect Glaive's arsenal. I only want to go over the important things that you're going to be doing to play this class on a masterful level. Everything else you'll kind of learn intuitively along the way. That said, it's time to learn about the offset moves with the Kinsect Glaive. So my freaking extract up, I need to put power prolonger on just for the sake of the tutorial. I don't have to worry about micromanaging these freaking extracts. It's making the class look way more micromanaging than it really is. Anyways, you can offset with the Kinsect Glaive's strong descending slash combo. This combo right here, if timed correctly, you can literally offset the monster. So right when they're about to attack, boom. Okay, I was a bad kid there. We're gonna try that again. You gotta wait and time it accordingly, but if timed correctly, you'll see an offset slash. Bop, 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 bop. And I missed the timing again, guys. I got stage fright. Okay, we're gonna do this one more time. Boom, boom, boom. Come on, time, and bop. There it is. All right, so you can do that into your freaking rising slash, collect your extracts simultaneously. It's a beautiful combo. That's one of 2 offsets. The other offset is, you know how I told you to hold down your charge? Well, you can hold the charge down in the air too. Just know that when you propel yourself into the air, the charge resets, okay? So I propel, man, that's a hard word to say while you're in the midst of talking. I propel myself into the air, or vault, and you can actually let go the charge right before landing on the ground to do what's called a descending thrust. This attack right here can also offset the monster, and it can also go into your spiral, your finishing move. I'm going to show you that in a bit. So let's do that one more time. Propel myself into the air. It's funny listening to myself trying to say that word while explaining things to you. We're going to do that one more time. I'm going to go into the air with the vault move, and I'm going to time getting hit. Boom. Okay. It's a bit complex. We're going to try that one more time. I got to like time it. Here we go. All right, we're gonna go into the air, boom, boom, and boom, there it is. See, if we time it correctly, you can then go into your final finisher right there as well. So those are the two offsets of the Insect Glaive. Now, I will tell you, it's not as good as Greatsword and Switch Axe offsets. You know, they're offsets. If you do it, you then go into a whole fancy combo that does a lot of damage. The Insect Glaive, you don't go into some fancy combo. In fact, you barely stagger the monster like for a long time the way you stagger them with those classes. But it is still a counter that makes a already very powerful class even more powerful, because obviously it's a way to mitigate damage while still knocking the monster on their ass and clapping cheeks. So that's worth pointing out as well. Now, you might be a old school Insect Glaive player. Remember, in World, this was a move you would use a lot, that one, right? It was the circle combo, basically. You would always finish off with this move because it did a lot of damage, and then you would go right back into your starter Rising Slash here, strong Rising Slash combo. Well, in Wilds, this is just for the veterans to know, that move doesn't really get used a lot because the damage and the time it takes to do it is just a bit too long. I know in World it hit like a truck, and I think in Rise it even hit like a truck. In here, I'll be honest, guys, the strong descending slash is just so goddamn strong that it just completely overshadowed that old school Insect Glaive move to the point where it's just, until they buff it, give it more damage, it's not really worth using, or find a way to make it better integrated into combat. That said, there's one more thing I want to tell you guys is the strong descending slash in the air or descending thrush. This is a good move to use when you're trying to close ground or you're trying to like zone in on a monster. Let's say they jump across the damn field. You can obviously come over there, prepare yourself, and then you can even pinpoint where you want to land with that descending thrust. It's actually very helpful if you're going the wrong way to turn back around and go back to the direction you wanted to be in. I use that a lot when I feel like I'm in multiplayer mode and I'm just trying to get to a particular part of the monster. I can then use that to kind of like pinpoint where I want to land. All right, so you guys learned how to manage your Kinsect Extracts, how to acquire them. You've also learned the important moves of the Insect Glaive while you're in the middle of all three extracts being acquired. Now I kind of want to talk to you guys about just some of the challenges of the class, maximizing its damage and when to use its most powerful moves, and some of the challenges you're probably going to face. So let's go ahead and talk about that next. All right, so one of the biggest challenges of playing the Insect Glaive is knowing when to spiral slash, knowing when to descending slash, and knowing when you're just doing chip damage with your regular moves and trying to read the monster. Because as I said, you're more than likely going to be doing this a lot while you're waiting on the monster, and opportunity presented itself, but I'm not going to spiral slash right here because I know he's getting ready to do that move. There's going to be a lot of that occurring. There's also going to be a lot of occurrences where you're going to have a bunch of wounds open on the monster, and those wounds are going to look juicy for a focused strike. But let me tell you something. I've seen this move right here, this one right here, hit so goddamn hard. That move can hit for 300 and tick for 10 times. I've seen it do some absurd amounts of damage to the point where the ideal Insect Glaive gameplay is opening up a bunch of wounds on the monster, but saving those wounds for the spiral slash finisher. And you'll be glad you did, because let me tell you something. Look, I'll just show you right now. Boom, 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 boom. You see those 233s? That's not even like with all buffs activated. I haven't activated my buffs. You activate all the buffs in battle. You pop the freaking, the demon drug and all that for the damage boost. It's an absurd amount of damage. And so the trick and the question becomes, when should I focus strike? Sometimes during the fight, you just don't have a choice. You're in a rhythm and the wound presents itself, you're good to go. But the real mastery of this class is doing a spiral slash and coming to find out that the fucking bug didn't collect all the extracts simultaneously. And this is what you do right here. You do your descending thrust, you do your spiral slash. The moment you hit the ground, you're gonna literally aim this bad boy down. And what aiming down does, and obviously you wanna kind of like aim towards the middle of the monster, is it just sends the damn bug straight through the monster to where it actually ends up securing all extracts, and it comes back very quickly. You're gonna do that after doing your spiral slash combo. And mastering that is really, really difficult because you're in the middle of the fight. It's much easier said than done. So I come up here, right? As soon as I hit the ground, I'm already aiming down. Boom, 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 boom. I get the pierce, bring the bug back. All three extracts are back, and I immediately start doing my thing with my Insect Glaive again. Those are horrible combos. I just realized I didn't recall them back. I was like, what's going on here? Yeah, so then you immediately start coming back to this combo here. But once again, the loop is doing the descending thrust back into your rising slash. And you can do that loop as many times as you want to. And like I said, if you feel like you're at an awkward part, you can reposition, right? And then once the opportunity presents itself, you then go into this final combo, into the spiral slash, boom, 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 boom. You can focus strike mid-air, or you can aim down. That is going to be the main, I would say, bread and butter of Insect Glaive during the extraction process. Usually the most annoying thing about playing the class is just micromanaging that shit up there. Now that they've given you this insanely powerful move, you also now have to deal with losing your extracts and getting them back. But I'll be honest, guys, this pretty much wraps up a good introductory to Insect Glaive. I was a longsword player for the longest, and it's always been the most enjoyable class for me. But in Wilds, the Insect Glaive has surpassed the longsword for me. With the offset that they've given it, that spiral slash move, and all of the different ways to extract these bugs, I can confidently tell you, I can look that camera dead in his eyes and tell you that if you really lock in on this class, you probably won't play another class as much. It's so fun. And get this, in Wilds, it is debatably, and I say debatably, the strongest goddamn class in the entirety of the game. I'm so happy to, because it's such a cool class. It's got all the flamboyant moves. It's got a complete package of a kit. The only annoying thing is just micromanaging, and if you're on the controller, playing with that fucking godforsaken claw grip. I've gotten acclimated with it. It is going to take some getting used to. But with all of that being said, this is an amazing class worth picking up. Some fights in the game, it will make quick work of them. If you go up against Jin Dahad, you can just fly around with it. Oh my God. I need to talk to y'all about the flying around. Okay, let's knock that out before we end this video. But the flight of the Insect Glaive, we almost forgot about that one. My freaking aerial glaive mates. I'm sorry, bro. We almost forgot about it. Let's go. All right, let's get it. So, okay, I was a bad host here, guys. There's one more play style, and I actually enjoy it myself. Speaking of Jin Dahad and large-bodied monsters, even Rathalos, who's always flying in the goddamn air. Speaking of which, you can actually do the charge in the focus mode and do a quick cast flash pod and still be charged. That's very important to know. But two, you can actually mount the hell out of a monster with this class by simply going around and flying. So I'm using my triangle ability, and so long as you connect, you'll go right back into the air and propel yourself. And what they did in this game is they make it a bit stronger the more you do it, but it does use up stamina, right? And you can do it as long as you have stamina. Actually, no, I think you ended after like 4 ticks. But doing this move right here is how you mount the monster. That is pretty important, honestly, because one of the benefits of Insect Glaive is being able to just fly around like this, and then eventually you do so much mounting damage. Yeah, so however many times you saw me do that, that's the maximum amount of times. You do so much mounting damage that in a group hunt, people are mounting the monster constantly. So this is something worth doing. The optimal way of the Insect Glaive, maximum damage, is staying on the ground as much as possible because of the amount of damage. But this is also a very fun way and comfortable way to play against monsters that are easily like wide-bodied, and you can tick on them a lot. So that's worth pointing out. There's also another move. I'll be honest, nobody uses this move right here. It's like the reason you don't use this move, it's circle, by the way, or what's the name of it? It's called descending thrust. It's because you're usually charging your descending thrust in the air over that move. And that's a lot better because you can go into your finisher. But basically, you're going to come up in the air and you're going to be holding this down, and you can hold it down while obviously doing this too. Come down into the air, boom, 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 boom. And then you go into the air. So that's why you don't really use that other move. That other move is just kind of like, it just got shit on by the spiral slash into the descending thrust, or I'm sorry, vice versa. But yeah, there is aerial glaive. I almost forgot about it. My bad, player. Hey, it is what it is, boys. I got a little bit too sweaty, too meta slavey there at the end. That said, I hope this brought you a lot of confidence in giving this class a go. Other Insect Glaive mains, feel free, share all your knowledge down. If you think I left out some things that are a little bit more important to point out, go ahead and share that knowledge. I know a lot more, but I also didn't want to make a fucking hour video teaching somebody how to play the class. So that's going to wrap it up. Peace, love, and happiness. I do plan to do this with other classes, longsword, dual blades, charge blade, switch axe. I have a big goal to cover all classes, but hey, it takes time. It's a lot of fucking layers to learn. Anyways, enough yapping. Peace.